Good evening, everyone. I warmly welcome you all to the third day of Robotics webinar series organized by the IEEE Robotic and Automation Society of University of Peradeniya. The main purpose of this webinar series is to provide you with the fundamental knowledge on robotics and automation. Today, we are going to have a robot simulation workshop. On the first day of our workshop, we will discuss how to use robot simulation software to design and build robots. And today's session will be continued on the 2nd of August, which is tomorrow from 6 p.m. onwards. At the end of these two sessions, you will be able to design your own robot. With that, let me introduce you the keynote speaker of today's session, Mr. Udra Ranasinghe, currently an undergraduate in the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, University of Peradeniya. He is an all-rounder student who performs in academics, sports, and extracurricular. He has experience in working with embedded systems, Arduino, and robotics, along with his knowledge in robot simulation, Python, and other programming languages, circuit designing, machine learning, and neural networks. He has taken part in several robotic and innovation competitions and recently became one of the top 10 finalists of South Asia InnoChamps competition organized by the Synopsys. He is also the secretary of IEEE Robotics and Automation Society of University of Peradeniya. He will be conducting today's session on robot simulation, and we hope you all will get the best out of today's session. Before handing over the session to our speaker, I have a little announcement to be made for the participants. We will display a link in the chat box, and through that link, you can direct your questions to us, so that we will make sure to answer them at the Q&A session in the end. So without further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Udra Ranasinghe to proceed with today's webinar. Over to you, Ayya.
Udal, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Vishnu, for your very nice introduction. So today we are going to talk about robot simulation software. So today we are going to go from the absolute beginning level to some intermediate, maybe beginner level. So in today's session, actually robot is a kind of software that you can use to build robots. Also not actually robots. Let's say if you want to build anything, like you want to build an animation of project or animation of something else, or you want to do a 3D modeling of some product, you can use Webot as your software, and also it is easy to use, user-friendly software. So let's move to the presentation. I hope you can see the screen. Yes. Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can, Udal.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Udul Ranasinghe from University of Peradeniya. So let me get the laser pointer. Okay. So before moving on, let's not forget these guys who pay taxes for our education. Even for the today's learn link, their taxes we use their taxes. So let's not forget them, and let's not forget to give something back to our country. So today we are going to talk about special software. But before moving to software, I want you to talk something about flowchart diagram. So It's because Webot is a simulation software which connects some nodes. I will explain these things later. But for as a starting point, Webot is a software that connects some nodes that we are creating when we are building our simulation world, and it is connecting those nodes. So it is like actually a flowchart diagram. So building a flowchart diagram will make it easier for you to and for us to build our robot or simulation. So then I'm going to introduct. I'm going to do an introduction about Webot interface, tabs, and other things, and then we are going to talk about how to add solid object to our simulation world. After this point, I will call it world. So solid object is mainly any object that has a boundary and it's basically solid. So then we are going to talk about something about two-wheel differential robot, and then we're going to implement that robot on software, our simulation work. And then in next day, we are going to use sensors to get input to our robot, and after that, we are going to talk about some algorithms that we can use when we are building our robots. And then we are going to implement that on our two-wheel differential robot. That's it. So how to make it easier to do a project. So actually, when you are trying to start a new project, first you have to have a good idea about your project. So before moving to the project, you have to build your own idea. So I suggest do not refer internet or any other information on internet, because that will destroy your creativity. So try to build it on your own, and that will add some new parts. Maybe some things are not in present world. So try to build your own. So then after building to some point, do some research on internet, and you can shape your design or your project or your idea. You can sharpen your idea. Then create a working flow. To create working flow, you can use flowcharts, and there are UML class diagrams, and also if you are a person who can't finish things in deadlines, so create deadlines that will help you to increase your efficiency. So let's talk about flowcharts, because flowcharts actually make easier to plan, because these flowcharts are independent from the programming language. So you can build your idea on using flowcharts without having any idea about the programming language. Also, since this is not modulated on programming language, you can show this flowchart to any person. A person who is in management level or who don't have any idea about programming, you can show this flowchart and ask their idea, and you can develop and you can show your idea to other person. So it's easy to explain, I told you. And also you can divide your workload among the team members. Actually, that means you can divide your flowchart or some part to one member and another member, and also this dividing these parts will help you. Let's say you are building some object following or object detecting code. So since this code is independent from the other programming parts, this code can work independently. So whenever you are going to do another project which needs some image processing part or object detection part, you can use that code directly. So these things are the main things that I want to show. So to make flowcharts, actually you can use Microsoft Word, but there are some online diagram making softwares like X diagram. They are very easy to control and design. So let me show some. Okay. Yeah. I hope you can see this. So this here you are given this kind of window. So you can if I talk about today's diagram, because since Webot is oriented on this something like flowchart, before move to the this Webot thing, let's create some software. So let's create some flowchart in order to make it easier for us to create our nodes. You will understand why I am telling this so deliberately, why we need flowcharts. So in order to create flowcharts in this online software, here you have any shapes and UML diagrams, arrows. I think just click and paste. So and then you can, if you want to change the font size, let's make it 20. And then click on this under robot. So if I talk about robot today, we can divide robot into many parts. So one part will be wheels, and next part will be chassis, and other maybe we can say the steel ball, or we can say sense. Drag and drop. Sorry. So sensors. So actually, we can build this sensor node also into another 3 main nodes. Let's say one is front sensor, and another is left sensor, and one thing is right sensor. So this is left sensor, and this is and you can connect these things like this. So I am not going to explain very deeply about this flowchart because this is not our main target. So this is how you can create sensors. So next, move to our robot flowchart. So, okay, this is our flowchart diagram for today's robot. Actually, this is a very simplified version of our robot flowchart. So, if I explain these things, so our main node, okay, from this point onwards, I will call these as nodes. So, our final product is a robot. So robot is like a family. Let's say a family member, there are family members. So under the robot, there are some parts, like say wheels, hinge joints, sensors, and algorithm. These are the nodes that drive the robot. So these are go under children nodes. So I will explain these things. Okay, robot has children nodes. Under these children nodes, we have these things. So we can create these hinges and other wheels. So this is very simplified version. I will show you the final flowchart and I will explain it each one by one. So okay. This is the final outcome of today's session. We are going to build this wooden box and this robot and this sphere. So these are two solid objects and this is a robot. So but this actually if I talk about very detailed wise, so this object is a solid object that can't feel the physics. That means we can't apply forces to this solid object. Even if we apply some forces to this solid object, this object can't move according to the forces. And the special thing about this sphere is something that it can feel the forces that we are applying. It will move across our arena whenever it feels some forces. Whenever our robot maybe something hits this sphere, then it's try to move around the arena. So that is the main difference between this solid object, movable and not movable solid objects. And then we are going to create our robot. Basically, it is a two-wheel differential robot. So this is our final robot. Let's name it Go Mobile. Our Go Mobile has two wheels and three sensors, a chassis, and some two steel balls under the chassis. So today I'm trying to finish this robot completely. So hope you can grab these ideas and you can do with me if you can follow me if you like. So as I was talking, this is our final node. So we have robot node, and under the robot we have children's, like the family. Children are body shape. Actual body shape is our chassis, and we have wheels, and we have hinge joints. Hinge joints are actually, I will explain what are the hinge joints. So under hinge joints, we have devices, motors, we have some mechanisms, we have encoders, and all those go under hinge joints. So this is our final flow chart. So I have created this flow chart, so it will be easier for us to follow this flow chart and create our robot. So okay, so I think this is enough about flowcharts. So let's move to the Weber software. Yeah. I think you can see the screen.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So this is our final arena. So this is our robot sphere and the solid object. So let me introduce you to the window, Webot window. Actually, here you have files. So under file, this file menu allows you to perform usual file tasks, operations like loading, open new world, save files, like a usual system. So under edit tab, you can edit our text. This text editing function. This is the text. Actually, here what mean by text is our controller code. Control code is what the code that controls our robot. So, and this view will controls the viewing angles, and simulation window. And some other things you can see, builds, overlays, tools. So these are some usual components that we see in all simulation, all softwares. And especially what I want to talk about is this part is called scene tree. Scene tree is like I said, this robot is like a flowchart. So you can see there we have robot and other things, children. So this is a scene tree, which is our flowchart, but in a different way. So this is our flowchart, maybe we call scene tree, and here our simulation world. This is our controller code. Controller code means the code that controls our robot. So here we can see the console. Console means where the outputs are printed, or where we can see how our if there are errors or other anything we can see in console. And then this display. This is very important because this displays the running time of our simulation world. So if I run this, okay, you can see the running time of the robot is displayed because I would like to highlight you that when you start to building something on Webot, please make sure that you are at the beginning of our simulation world. Okay, if not, you will have to save it using another file, or you will lose sometimes you will lose the whole simulation if you have not gone to the beginning of our simulation world. So this is the button you use to run the world. So this is okay, and this is using this you can this is sound time. You can use these things to create videos, and you can take photos of your world. Also, after you have done some changes to your world, I encourage you to save your work. So basically, before starting, go to the beginning of our work and then do some changes. If you want to do changes, you can do some changes and save your work time to time. So we will not lose our project. So it's better to save, I think, than losing on whole lifetime work. So this is our okay. This is our final outcome today. So before moving on, I will tell you some shortcuts that we can use in robot. This well, so basically you can use left click to rotate your environment, your arena. This is called the arena, the floor, and these are solid objects. And if you want to change the position of some solid, so you can use shift key and the left click to drag and drop the solids to any place, not only solid, actually even the robot. And also you can use right click to drag your arena like this, and you can use scroll in and scroll out to zoom in and zoom out purpose. So, and there is a short key to apply forces. Okay, let me show you that. Okay. So to apply forces, you can use Alt left click with Alt key. So press Alt key and the left click. That will apply forces to the solid. Even for the robots, we can apply force. But the main difference between this solid and this solid is we can't apply forces to this object. So these things are like in real world, these things are like balls, like still objects. These are the things that change, that move. We can move with forces. So that's how these things are work. So let us start to build this from the beginning. To build, so first you have to create a new world file. To create a new world file, go to the Wizards tab and create a new project directory. So I'm going to, and this dialog, this window will pop up, and it has the details about our project. So press next and give a name. So now I'm going to use my project name as maybe. And next. So, and make sure to click this add a rectangle arena because if sometimes, let's say rectangle arena means this, you can see this flow. This is called the rectangle arena. If let's say you want to build your own arena, you want to build a line following robot. So the arena will be a line following arena. So it will be not like a rectangle arena, but for the simplicity, and today I'm going to use a rectangle arena. So you can click this and press next. There are some details and finish. So after creating a project directory, you have this rectangular arena. So let's change some parameters of this arena. So to change parameters, you can use this scene tree. So under this scene tree, you can see a node called rectangle arena. So go to the rectangle arena and drag it over. So under this rectangular arena, you can see translation, rotation. I will explain some of these things. I'm not going to explain everything because it will be not possible. So this translation I will explain later. Rotation, you can rotate the arena whenever you like. So there is a node called flow size. Go to that. So now we have arena size 1 by 1. So let's make it 2 by 2, 2 meters and 2 meters arena. So when I changing these parameters, you can see the size of arena is changing. So now we have this 2 by 2 arena. So let's say if you want to change this floor tile size, you have this. You can change this to 1 centimeter, 1. So it is 1 meter. So like this. So today I'm going to keep this as 0.5. So because it is beautiful. And here you can change wall height, even when it is wall thickness, anything you can change. So that's how you create your arena. So now we have the arena, and make sure to save your file, save world. So now we are safe. So now let's first we are going to add a wooden box, and then let's add a sphere to our world. To add wooden box, actually go to this rectangle arena and highlight it, and then here you have some buttons. This is for saving purposes and viewing. There is a button with a plus sign. So click it, and then you will get a pop-up screen. So first get some time to, okay. So we have this pop-up. There we have another nodes. From this, I will call these things as node because we use nodes to create its simulation. So we have base node, use node, proto nodes, Base node means basically basic shapes, and use is our previously used. I'm going to use these 4 nodes in when we are building, and I will explain it on time to time. So now we are going to add the wooden box. To add wooden box, go to this proto node, and go to, I want to add the object, and there you have go to factories. So maybe you are wondering how to memorize all these things. So actually it is, you need practice, experience with the software, and even you can use this find searching bar to find anything you want. Actually even I don't know some things in there. We have trees, lights, anything you want. If you want to build something, you want to build a, let's say, project, and you need a tree, and you are 3D modeling your project, you can use, and you can, using these built-in nodes, you can create your 3D model. So I'm going to use this wooden box. So click, and here you have add, import, and cancel. Click on add. So now you have a wooden box. So obviously you can see the size is not according to our arena. So I'm going to change the size and some parameter to, in order to change the size, same as before, go to this wooden box node, drag it open, and there you have size. So now it is 60 centimeter box. So I'll make it to 20 centimeter box. So you can press, and the sizes are in meters, dimensions. So you can change it to 0.2. So as you can see, now we have 20 cube, and also you can see now the wooden box is floating. So what's happened here is the center of this wooden box is not on the surface. So let's change the center of this wooden box to be on the surface. So go to this translate, under wooden box you have this translation. This translation not used to control the center point of your object. So go to this translation, and click this, and you, as you can see, okay. So before that, you can see arrows, right? Red arrow, green arrow, and blue arrow. So these colors represent the X, Y, and Z coordinate. To memorize this easily, these RGB colors represent X, Y, and Z. RGB for X, Y, and Z. So now you can see the X value is 0.3. So let's make it to 0. So now center is on the surface, and you can see our box is halfway on the ground. This is because the height of this wooden box is 20 centimeters. So center should be on 10 centimeters above from the ground. I think you can understand this thing. So these little things may be useful when we are designing things. So try when we can speed up our process by explaining these things, basic things. So let's make it to 0.1, so 10 centimeters. So as you can see, the expected result is there. So then you want to change the place of this wooden box. Actually, obviously you can use shift key and left click to change the place. Also there is now I'm going to place it here. I think it is bad. So now we have finished our wooden box. So like this. So you can build anything. There are trees, cars, even humanoid robots are there, and even built-in robots are there. So you can use these things and build your project and build your designing, build your 3D modeling. So let's add another object, that spherical shape object. To add that sphere, highlight this wooden box and go to this add tab. And there you get that same pop-up window. So there, now I'm going to create a shape from this sketch. So I can use Protonode. Obviously, I can use Protonode, but for the sake of explanation, this solid object, I'm going to build the sphere from the beginning. So drag this open, go to solid. So actually solid means here, okay, I will click this. Actually, there you have some explanation about solid. In Webot, solid is basically a solid object. This doesn't define the shape of the solid, the geometry of solid, the appearance, or anything. This does not define anything about solid, but it just defines there is a solid. Okay, we can see this. Also, you can use this add button to add the solid to the scene tree. Also, you can double click on this and it will also appear in here. So let's, as you can see, even though we have added this solid node, we can't see anything here. Only the axis system. This is because now our solid doesn't have any shape or appearance. So let's add a shape for this. Okay. So there, here I'm going to add the sphere. Okay. Okay. So go to this solid node, and here, as I was explaining, as I explained before, you have translation, rotation, anything, and this solid is a family. It is a separate family of our scenery. So under this family, solid family, we have children. So since we are going to add a shape, we want to go to this children and double click on this children, and there you will get this pop-up window. So now we have a solid. We are going to add the shape to our solid. Actually, why we have this? Okay, let's add this shape. So I'm going to add this shape. So even now we don't have any. We can't see anything. So this is because we still haven't define any geometry. So drag this shape open, and there you can see geometry and appear. So if in order to see something on the arena, we have to change this appearance and geometry. So why we can directly add shape other than solid? This is because think about the complex solid, not like sphere, box, or anything. Think about ice cream. So ice cream is contain mainly two solids. One is maybe hemisphere, and other is a cone. So in those kind of cases, we have to add two solid to create our final shape. So in these kind of situation, we can use these children and we can add two shapes. Actually, not two shapes. There is another method, but basic idea is we can add two shapes, and then create our final solid. So then let's add the sphere. So go to this geometry. So we are going to add double click on it, and there I'm going to add a shape, geometry, sphere, spherical shape. So there you have boxes, capsule, anything, and I'm going to add sphere. So add. So now you can see we have a sphere which is halfway through our flow. So okay, now we have sphere shape, and go to this geometry sphere, drag this open, and we can change the radius of our sphere, and there is something called subdivision. I will explain this as well. So go to this radius. Let us create a 15 centimeter radius sphere. So change this to 15. So we have this. And if I zoom in, you can see this is not a perfect sphere. This has some weird shape. Actually, in Webot, the sphere is created using triangle. So in order to smoothen this the surface, what you can do is go to this subdivision node and increase the subdivisions. So if I set this to 3, you can see the surface is smoothing. So, but this comes with some cost, because smoothing out your surface will increase the computational cost that need computational power to run this simulation. So in order to keep the computational power as minimum as possible, use minimum number, I am going to use today because I'm running Zoom and many apps. So I'm going to use 2. So now we have this 2 subdivided sphere, and now we have geometry, but still we haven't specified the appearance of this sphere. So in order to define the appearance, double click on this appearance node. Now you can see this is still null. Now we are going to add the appearance. Appearance means the shape, the color. If the solid is metal or non-metal, or any is solid, the frictions, all of this. So we have given 2 choices. I'm going to choose this PBR appearance. As you can see, we have metal sphere. This is the reflection of sun. As you can see, this is a metal box. So I think I need a plastic or rubber ball. So to change this, open this appearance node. You can see base color, transparency, roughness, even metalness. So since I need non-metal, so I'm going to change this metalness to 0. So metalness to 0, and I'm going to change the base color. Base color is we can change base color using RGB values. So I am going to use let's use a wood color, 0 red, and green value will be 0.7 and 4. I think this is good. So we have base color, and I'm going to change the roughness of this surface is to, let's say, where's the roughness? Roughness 2.2. Roughness, you know, roughness, what is roughness? What roughness is, right? So, yes, now we have our ball. So, now we want to put this on the our arena, and we have to put this here. So what I'm going to do is you can use these things in order to change. So okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the position of this sphere. To change the position, go to this solid node. Under solid node, you can see this translation. So go to this translation, and there you can, since our radius is 15 centimeters, I'm going to change this to 15. Y-axis change is 15. So now you can see it is on the ground. And then I'm going to, rather than changing the place using shift key, I can use this x-axis and y-axis also to change my place. So I'm going to, in x direction, this direction, I'm going to use and z direction I can change 1.5. So here, so okay, this is good. So now you have our solid object. So let's save this, and then let's see what then run this. So now if I try to add forces using Alt key and left key, I can't apply forces to this one. If I add forces to this class, okay, I have done something wrong. So before I forgot to do that. Sorry about that. So okay. Yeah. Now you can see, even we have created the object, solid object, we can't apply any forces. This is because even though we have created our ball, we haven't defined any physics. Physics mean how this object feel the forces. So forces and other gravity and other things. In order to add forces, so go to this solid node. There, go to this physics node, double-click on node. Fortunately, Webot has given built-in physics node. So I'm going to use this. If not, you can use your own physics to your object as well. So I have added a physics node, and there is an error message calling. There is using default match something error message calling that the adding physics something that is because we have added physics, but this in Weber's when we are adding solids, actually solid when we are creating geometry, it only creates the shape. In order to add a boundary, we have to we want to create a boundary for this object separately. That means even though we can see this object, there is no boundary for this object. So in order to create a boundary means when something is going to collide with this solid, how at what place, at what surface is going to collide with that thing. So you let's let's do it and see. So under this solid, go to this bounding object tab and double click on it, and we are going to add the bound. So boundary, actually you can add any boundary to this sphere. You can add a spherical shape boundary, or you can add cubical shape boundary. It doesn't matter. Even though this is a sphere, you want to you want something away. This you want you want cubical shape as this boundary as this object. You can use that cubical shape. So now I am going to use boundary object boundary. So in order to add boundary, I am going to use this base node. There I am going to use shape, because I'm double clicking on this. So now we have shape and the error is gone, because we have a boundary, and physics can work because physics engine know the boundary of this object. So in order to change the boundary, you can go to this geometry and add a sphere. This is another method, and there is another method. Rather than creating this shape, I'm going to delete this using delete key. You can create this bounding object directly here using this. You can see here a sphere node. You can directly use sphere rather than using shape. Use this sphere, and I'm going to under this bounding object node, you can again see radius and subdivision, because we use 15 centimeters. So I'm going to change the radius to 15 centimeters and subdivision to 2. So you can see now some triangle like surface lines there that implement the boundary of this let's save this. So now we have boundary. Let's run this and see what's happened. So I'm going to add Alt and force. Okay, now you can see force is acting on our object, and it is changing. The sphere is moving across the arena. So that is how we are going to add a solid object. Why I am telling these things? Because these things will be help. We are going to build our. So actually, when we are building our project, we are not going to build the robot. Okay, we need some environment to work with our robot. So now I am placing this here. Okay, now okay, let's save this. I am going to place this sphere here and save the world. So okay, okay, let's start building our robot. This will be easy because we now know how to create solid nodes. Building a robot is just just creating these solid objects and connecting those things together. So let's move to our presentation. So today we are going to create a differential robot. Differential robot is two-wheel robot. If I explain this differential robot has two wheels. Okay, how we can control if this is if this wheel start to rotate in one direction, two wheels. our robot is going to move linearly. And if we are going to if we rotate these wheels in opposite direction, it's going to move. It's going to rotate around his this center of mass or center of gravity. So actually, most of the time we are like to use two-wheel robot because the mathematical modeling of this two-wheel robot is easy. I will talk about this mathematical modeling of two-wheel robot in our next session. How to mathematical model and build some algorithms to these robots. And basically, since our center of gravity, most of the time our center of gravity is in this wheel axis. So since our center of gravity is in this wheel axis, when we are moving our robot, the robot will not feel it definitely will feel the inertia forces, but the inertia and forces all are in the center of gravity or this center of this motor, this axis, wheel axis. So since these forces are in this axis, controlling this will be easier. Also, when we want to rotate our robot, we can just give a speed of rotation for let's say this to 10 and this to minus 10. This robot is rotating around this center of rotation. So in that case also, it is easy to control our robot because center of mass is not going to change when we are rotating our robot. That is making our mathematical modeling easy. And also the main thing is this is a low cost design and simple design. That is one thing. So actually, before moving to any project, I think it is better to, if you are, let's say you are creating these dimensions. So this two-wheel robot. So before building our robot, create a dimensions of robot. Like here I have plan view, end view, and front view of robot with dimension. So creating dimensions will make it easier for you to use this when you are creating your robot in simulation network, simulation software. Since you have dimension, you can just put numbers here and there and create your object. If not, you have to think about the dimensions. Okay, this will work. Oh no, this not work. So let's put this. Oh, it will take hours to build these things. So if simply creating dimension is save your time. So in order to create today a two-wheel robot, this is flow chart. We need to design wheels, and also we need to design a chassis, and we need to design a rope motor and a steel ball for stability. So actually this motor is created to hinge joint. Actually hinge joint is something like this. Hinge joint, this thing you can understand is there are two hinge joints, 1 degree of freedom hinge joints and 2 degree of freedom hinge joint. Simply it means this hinge joint can move only one axis. This can rotate you on only two axes. So in motor side, we are going to use one axis hinge joint because motor is rotating only on one axis. So after that, so let's move to our software and see. Okay, now we are at this point. Now we are going to build our robot. So actually the main part of our simulation is robot. Robot is different from other nodes because robot is going to move around this, move according to our control, our code. So to build a robot, we need special node called robot. To add the robot node, go to this, highlight this robot solid node and click this add button, and there here under base node we have robot node. Add this robot node. So now you have a robot, but it does not have any geometry. So in order to create a geometry shape, I am going to go under children because robot is main family and members are chassis, wheels, other things. So they are under children. So I am going to add children node. So I am going to add the shape. Shape. So we have shape. I am going to under shape. I'm going to first change the appearance of a robot. I know you can't see, but okay, let's add appearance. So because it is the first thing, so let's add a PBR appearance. Okay. Now let's add the geometry. To add the geometry, double click on this geometry node and go to, I am going to create a cylindrical shape, and I'm going to create the height so small that it will be look like a flat surface. So I'm going to use cylinder, and you can see the cylinder. And in case you want to, I'm going to create this console because if there is error message, it will be highlighted. Create console. So now you can see there is a cylinder. So change the height and other radius things. I'm going to go under this. Let me give me a minute. Change this height. Okay. So in order to change the height and radius, go under this radius node. I am going to create 5 centimeter with radius. That means our robot is 10 centimeters wide, and height is to, let's make it to 1 centimeter. So this is our robot. Now the chassis is ready, geometry is ready. Now I'm going to change the appearance. So there I metalness to 0 since I need the plastic robot. And roughness, let's change the roughness 0.2. So now we have this. Now we are going to add a design for this. In a the color method, not by, you can go to this base color map null. So here we are going, what we are going to do is we are going to map. Let me drink some water. We are going to map an image to our chassis. To map, we are going under this base color map, and there the robot has given us a built-in image texture. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to drag this open, and there you have this URL tab. So under here under this URL, you have to give the URL to your image. You can use JPG or PNG images. Copy the link to the file path to the image and paste it here. So I'm going to select, and this open this window, and here I'm going to use this chassis and use this image. So as you can see, there we have our GoMile logo here. So now we have added appearance and geometry. So now, since our robot is going to collide with object, we have to create a boundary for this robot. So I will set the boundary to a shape like this. So when this robot is going to collide with something, the boundary is this shape. So in previous method, what we did was we create this shape again. Rather than doing this, there is a method, easy method that called definition method. So what we are doing there is we are defining the geometry of this shape and use it whenever we need to define the same shape like this. In order to do that, I'm going to I'm highlighting this geometry node and define this as chassis. So when defining things, it is good practice to use capital letters. So I'm defining this chassis, and then I'm going to go. I am going to create boundaries. In order to create boundaries, I go to this boundary object, double click on it, base node, under base node, base node, under use node, because we use this chassis node, we define this use node, we have chassis. So adding this, you can see white lines. These white lines mean the boundary of this object. So now we have the boundary. And I need our robot to feel the physics. Physics means gravity and other physical things to robot. So I'm going to add the physical node as well. Physics. Okay, let's add physics. So now we have physics. So now our robot chassis can feel gravity and other things. And also now our robot is halfway through the ground. I'm going to keep this as it is, and I will explain why I am keeping this halfway through the ground. Later I will explain this. Okay. So now we have our robot chassis. So now we know to add two motors and a wheel. In order to add wheel under robot, we are going to add the wheel to robot. Under robot, I'm children. I highlight the children and I am going to add a hinge joint. I explain what a hinge joint is. So here we have two degree of freedom hinges and 1 degree of freedom hinges. Since our motor is rotating only on one axis, I'm going to use this hinge joint thing. So we now have a hinge joint. So from here onwards, I want you to listen carefully, because this hinge joint is somewhat complex other than other nodes. So listen carefully. Before going to do anything, I'm going to save this file and let's add the hinge. Hinge is the point where our wheels are. So there under hinge joints, we want to change two parameters, joint parameters. I'm going to add joint parameters is like the friction of joint, how well this the damping of this hinge, those kind of things. So I'm going to use this joint parameter and double click on this. So fortunately, Webot has inbuilt hinge joint parameters. I'm going to use that. There you have the position, even the rotating axis. I'm going to maximize it. Rotating axis, the damping, spring constant. You can change these things and do it. You can do these things with yourself and find out what are the functions are. So now I am going to add a device to this hinge point. Device is a motor. So I double click on this device node and going to add a rotational motor. Let's add this motor. So okay, now we have motors. So I'm going to drag this open, and under this rotational motor, we can give more names to our motor. Since we are going to use these motors in our program, I like to name this. Let's name this as motor R. Motor R means right motor. So motor is motor, right? So I created the name, and I'm going to create endpoint none. Endpoint means the point where this joint is situated. We are going to where we are going to set this joint. So click on this endpoint. At the endpoint, what we are going to use is a wheel, right? Give me a second. Okay, we are going to add the wheel. You know that wheel is a solid, right? So I'm going to add the solid. Here, double click on this, and I'm drag this open. So under this we have children nodes, and I'm going to add a shape. To add shape, I'm going to this children node, and I'm going to add the shape. Add. So I'm going to create a shape. Under the shape, I'm going to add appearance. Okay, let's add the appearance. Maybe geometry. Our wheel is a cylindrical shape. So cylinder, and I'm going to change the radius. Let's use 1.5 radius. That means 1.5 centimeters. And you can see the wheel, and obviously we want to change the height. That means width of our wheel. So let's set it to 5 millimeters. Okay, now you can't see the wheel. Why? Because now wheel is inside our chassis. In order to see this wheel, I am going to rotate wheel. So rotate wheel on axis. To rotate these shapes under this endpoint children endpoint, go to this rotation node. So you can I'm going to rotate this along the Z axis. So set Z to 1 and Y to 0. And let's rotate this 90 degrees. That means in radians. 1.57, okay, 708. Okay, now you can see our wheel, and wheel is there. So let's add the base color. To add the base color, go to this under wheel, go to this appearance node, add the PBR appearance. I think now you are familiar with these things, so I'm going to increase my speed. So to change base color, let's set red to, let's set red to 0.2 and green value to 0.2, blue value to 0.2. So now we have a wheel, and I'm going to change the metalness, roughness. Since this is a wheel, I'm going to increase the roughness because if the wheel is smooth, it is going to slip on the ground, right? So roughness 0 and middleness to 0. So now you can see our wheel. Okay, now we have to define a boundary for wheel. Since even though we have a shape and appearance, the wheel don't have any bounding on. So here I'm going to use the define method. Go to the cylinder and I'm going to define this as wheel. And then what I'm going to do is under this boundary node, I'm going to use a use node wheel. So now you can see there are white lines saying that boundaries are created. And I want wheel to feel physics as well. So I'm going to add the wheel in physics. So that's it. So now we have created one wheel, and then I'm going to save. So now we have wheel. So we need two wheels, right? Creating two wheels is easy. To create two wheels, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this hinge because hinge is where our wheel is there, where we place our wheel. So I'm pressing Control C and Control V. Now we have two joints. Now this is I'm going to name this. You can name using this hinge. So this is right. This is left. So under this left, what I'm going to do is change the motor name to motor left. Motor left. So motor L. So now we have motor LN. Other parameters are same. Now what we want to do is we have children and these two are hinges. We need our right motor to place here and our left motor wheel to be here. So I'm going to change one wheel along x-axis and other wheel along the minus x direction. So to do that, go to this, let's go to right one. So open the right one and open this endpoint. So you have the translation. I think you familiar with this translation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this. This is right one. Minus 0.5. Since our radius is 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters, I am going to add 5. So now you can see, okay, this is left motor. So this will be before. So 5. I set it to 5, and you can see the wheel is contacting with the chassis. In order to remove that contacting part, I'm going to add some space between wheel and the chassis. So now we have wheel and chassis. So I think you can see some space between chassis and wheel. Okay, now I'm going to change this left wheel as well. I taking this direction as front. So if this front, this is right direction, and this is left. In order to place left direction, left wheel, I am going under this left hinge. this n parameters translation, I'm going to add 0.0. Okay, now let's save this. Okay, now you can see our robot is fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this and run the simulation. Okay, now actually when run the simulation, you can see the robot is popping up from the ground. So you may wonder why I'm not taking the robot onto the ground and still taking it halfway to the ground, because I think this way this way you can you can edit the dimension easy, because if you change this on the y direction like this, in every time you are going to add some object, you have to add that y direction movement as well. So it is not very easy. So what I do is I create this in halfway to the ground and defining every object dimension, and finally I will move the robot onto the ground. Okay. Okay. Now 15 minutes. So let's save this for you to see. Let's run this. Okay, now you can see our robot is on the ground. I'm going to apply force here using Alt. You can see our robot is not balancing very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a steel ball here and here in order to balance out our robot. So to add steel ball, okay, now let's add a steel ball here and here. To add here steel ball is children of robot, right? So under children, and this is very easy. So and now due to the time limitation, I'm going to add the, rather than adding a hinge joint, actually when you are adding a steel ball, you have to add a two axis, 2 degree of dimension hinge. But here I'm going to add a spherical shape ball. Let's set the friction of that wire or roughness of that ball to 0. Okay, so it will not drag on the surface, and since the friction is 0, to add the steel ball, what I'm going to do is, steel ball is a solid, right? You know that. So I'm going to this solid node. I'm adding this. So under solid node, same as before. So I am speeding. So go to children, add the shape for our ball. Definitely shape is cylindrical. Or maybe let's set the geometry sphere. Okay, you can see the steel ball is very much huge. So let's make the size of radius smaller. Let's use 0.7 millimeter ball. I think it will be enough. So you can see steel ball here, and subdivision is 1. I'm going to keep it as it is because I want to keep the computational power as minimum as possible. So, and I'm going to add the appearance, PBR appearance. I'm find the color. Let's metal ball. Okay, let's make it metal ball so it's not wear out. And what I want to do is roughness, make up roughness to 0. Okay, roughness is 0. Now we have one metal ball, but still the metal ball only have geometry and appearance. But metal ball don't have any what do you call it, boundary. In order to add the boundary, I'm going to use this geometric define method. So I'm going to define this as steel ball. So steel ball, we have a steel ball, and I'm going to add 2 steel ball here and here. So let's add a boundary and add physics as well. Of course, you can run this without adding physics, because if you want the ball to physics, gravity and other density, under physics you have density, mass, rotate, center of mass, anything you can change. If you don't want that ball to feel those kind of things, you can skip that part. But for the sake of completeness, I'm going to add that as well. So let's create 2 balls. Control C, Control V. Let's not name this because 2 balls. So under this, I am going to translate this ball here and other ball here. To translate, I am going to translate this ball on minus y direction. Let's change this to point 0, 0, 0. So I think the surfaces are matching this and this surface. So it's okay with me, and I'm going to change this on this direction. So it is on Z direction. This direction I have created this direction before, so I'm going to. That's why I said you create these dimensions before moving to the designing level. It will easier for you to design. So maybe I'll share this dimension with you. I'll send this to organizing committee. This will be minus 0.607. Sorry, minus this minus on Z direction 3 centimeters. Okay, now we have the shape. Now I'm going to save it. Now we are ready to. We are at the end of this session. So let me save this again, and let's run this project, and let's see what happened when we add in first. Okay, now it is stable, but okay, yeah, this wiggle is this is fine with me. Okay, this is fine. So now we have our robot. So since we have a robot, okay, we have spent 1.5 minutes. Okay, 1.5. Okay, adding sensors and other things. Okay, we have to add 3 sensors for this, right? We have to add sensor here, here, and here. So we will add sensors next day. Let's add sensors. In next day we will add sensors, and then we will talk about some algorithms and mathematical modeling part. Then let's program this robot to avoid objects. Maybe sometimes, if time permits, I will program this to follow a ball as well. So let's see this. If so, whether this robot is working or not. Okay, now to place this robot on the ground, so I'm going under robot this, go to translation mode. Since the wheel radius is 0.1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeter, I'm going to add 1.5 centimeter. As you can see, robot is on the ground. So not changing not taking the step make our life easier when designing, and now finally we can change our robot onto the ground. So let's save this. So I have code to run this robot. I think these things are right. Okay, let's see whether this is working. So I will show you. So okay, that's cool. We will add sensors next day, right? Because due to the time limit, I am going to comment out the sensor part from this. Okay, you can see it is in Python. It is very small code to run just this mode. Yeah, okay, I'll explain these things next day with the algorithm and the coding part with Python and C++. So I'm going to save this. To add a controller file to this robot, under robot, control file is the program that robot gains. Sometimes this will not work. Don't mind that. So under robot you have controller. Now it is void. I'm going to select a controller. I'm going to use this file. Here you can see this AUBAU. Okay. What is happening here is okay. Let's copy this code. Give me a minute now. I will do this all part in next day, but just to show you guys that this works. Get controller, my controller T, controller K, controller B. So now we have and my controller T is our name. So select controller 3. Okay. So let's just save this and run. Okay, it crashed. Worry. Okay, there is some issue. I will show you the final thing. Okay. So I have a file there. Okay, here. Due to this time, I want to show you guys how this works, and that's enough. We will do these things from the beginning in next session, right? Open world. I'm going to vision world. Okay, this is our previous world. So this is our robot. So this is how our, and there is a sensor part as well. We'll do these things. So if you want to create run the simulation faster, press this button and it will run the simulation faster and like this. So that will be end of our today's session. So that's it. Hope to see you in next day as well. We will do the rest tomorrow and hope to see you there. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much for that very informative session, Aya. I hope our participants could learn a lot of new things regarding the fundamentals of Webert simulation and making your own robot using Webert software. So they have also sent us a few questions through the link we provided. If anyone who has missed sending the questions now can scan the QR code and send your questions to us. So now I will direct those questions to Mr. Udula. Our first question is, what is this software? Is there any other software that can be used to design robots?
Sorry, I can't hear.
What is this software?
Design. Yes.
What is this software? Is there any other softwares that can be used to design robots?
What is this software?
Yeah.
This is Webot software. Actually, you can use. There are many softwares to designing purpose. Only for the designing purpose, you have SolidWorks, Gecko, and so many softwares. And for the simulation part, you have Webot, MATLAB, Simulink, and those kind of software. You can use those things, but since MATLAB is not free, but this is an open source software. Before 5 years ago, this was not a software, free software. So actually, even though this is a free software, this is actually in a good level because this we can use in Python, Java, MATLAB, even ROS as the programming language. These Webot support those languages as well. I think to simulate a robot, Webot is a good software. To designing things, maybe SolidWorks or some other software will be good. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Aya. So the next question is, can we export CAD models to this software?
Yes, you can export CAD models to the software. I will show you that as well in next session. I will design some CAD model and I will import. I will show you how to import those models. It is not very hard. It is easy. Like use so that we are adding some nodes, solid nodes and other nodes. So under proton nodes, you can add your designs as well.
Thank you, Aya. So the next question is, what language does Webot use?
Webot supports ISO, MATLAB, Python, Java, C++, C, ROS. Those are the languages.
Thank you. So the next one is, can we run Webots on any machine or do we need a GPU?
GPU will help to run these things. Even I ran this software on my GPU. But without GPU, you can run this. But maybe some good RAM as well. And actually, you need some performance. But having a GPU will help to run this faster, and the computational things will be easy if you have a GPU.
Thank you, Aya. So the final question is, can we customize world in this software?
Yeah, of course we can. Without adding rectangular, as I was explained, without adding this rectangular arena, you can design your own arena using SolidWorks. Let's say SolidWorks, you design a maze and wall and other things. Then what you want to do is you just import this arena, SolidWorks design arena to your Webot, and it will. You have to do some things here and there, and then it will be ready for your work.
Thank you very much, Aya. With that question, the Q&A session is concluded. So before going further, I have a request to be done from all the participants. Please fill the feedback form and give us your valuable feedback. You can now access it through the link displayed at the chat box, or you can scan the QR code and access the feedback form.
Okay, can I
So with
add
that
something?
reminder,
Actually, this was my first webinar as well. If you guys can add something about mine, you can give. If you guys can give me a feedback about the style and what you need and what you want from me, it will be very helpful. Thank you.
okay, so with that reminder, we have almost arrived at the end of today's session. On behalf of our society, I would like to thank Mr. Udula and all the participants for joining us today. So before binding up session, I would like to remind you that the 4th day of the Phase 1 Robotics webinar series is scheduled to be held on the 2nd of August, which is tomorrow from 6 p.m. onwards. There we hope to continue today's session on robot simulation and how to build your own robot. So join these upcoming webinars as well to gain an extensive knowledge on the field of robotics. So now it's time to conclude this webinar. Hoping to meet you all tomorrow on the 4th day of Robotics webinar series. Stay safe, everyone, and have a good night. Thank you.